Welcome to this documentary on the Arctic Sunrise case, a landmark legal battle between the Netherlands and Russia that spanned from 2013 to 2017. This case delved into complex issues of maritime law, environmental activism, and international arbitration. Let's explore the events, legal proceedings, and implications of this significant dispute. In September 2013, the MV Arctic Sunrise, a vessel chartered by Greenpeace International and flying the Dutch flag, approached the Russian oil production platform Prirazlomnaya. On board were 28 Greenpeace activists and 2 journalists. Their mission was to stage a protest against oil drilling in the Arctic, highlighting the environmental risks posed by such activities. On September 18th, the activists informed the platform authorities of their intention to protest. Despite this, the Russian Coast Guard quickly intervened, removing the activists' lines and chasing them away. The protest was short-lived, and by 6 a.m., 2 protesters were detained, while others returned to the Arctic Sunrise.
The situation escalated when the Russian Coast Guard ordered the Arctic Sunrise to stop for inspection, but the crew refused, citing their presence in international waters. Despite repeated orders, the vessel attempted evasive maneuvers. Later that day, Russian special forces boarded the Arctic Sunrise, seizing the ship and detaining its crew, known as the Arctic 30. The Arctic Sunrise was towed to the port of Murmansk, where the crew faced charges initially of piracy, later downgraded to hooliganism. The Netherlands lodged several formal requests with Russia for the release of the ship and crew, emphasizing the legal protections under international law. In response to Russia's actions, the Netherlands initiated arbitral proceedings under Annex 7 of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS. The International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, ITLOS, ordered Russia to release the Arctic Sunrise and its crew upon payment of a €3.6 million bond, a directive Russia ignored, citing its non-recognition of ITLOS's authority.
The case proceeded to the Permanent Court of Arbitration, PCA, with a tribunal comprising international judges from Ghana, Australia, the Netherlands, Poland, and Mexico. Despite Russia's refusal to participate, the tribunal found Russia in breach of UNCLOS by detaining the Arctic Sunrise and its crew without permission. On August 14, 2015, the tribunal ruled in favor of the Netherlands, ordering Russia to pay damages. The mechanism used in this case was arbitration, a method of resolving disputes outside the courts, where the parties involved agree to abide by the decision of a designated arbitrator or tribunal. This approach, under Annex 7 of UNCLOS, provided a structured process to address the complex legal issues at hand, despite Russia's non-participation. One of the central issues in this case was the right to protest at sea. While the freedom to navigate is protected under Article 87 of UNCLOS, the distinction between lawful protest and unlawful acts, such as piracy and terrorism, was rigorously examined. Protests at sea are often perceived as illegal due to the disruption they cause and the interests they challenge. Greenpeace's actions on the Arctic Sunrise were initially labeled as piracy by Russian authorities. However, piracy under UNCLOS Article 101 involves acts of violence or depredation for private ends, typically between 2 ships, which did not apply here. In the Arctic Sunrise case, the activists' actions were ultimately reclassified from piracy to hooliganism. This shift highlighted the nuanced differences between the two. Piracy requires a 2-vessel scenario and a private gain motive, neither of which were present. The activists' aim was to raise environmental awareness, distinguishing their actions from traditional piracy. Russia also accused the activists of terrorism, invoking the 1988 Protocol for the suppression of unlawful acts against the safety of fixed platforms. Yet, the tribunal rejected these allegations, clarifying that the activists' intent was not to intimidate or coerce for political ends, a defining element of terrorism.
The tribunal underscored the right to peaceful protest as part of the freedom of navigation under Article 87 of UNCLOS. The Netherlands, as the flag state of the Arctic Sunrise, exercised its diplomatic protection over the ship and its crew, asserting their rights under international law. The tribunal acknowledged that while peaceful protests at sea are a legitimate exercise of freedom of navigation, they must not interfere with maritime safety or the sovereign rights of coastal states. This balance is crucial to ensuring that protests do not disrupt essential operations or pose security risks. This ruling has significant implications for environmental activism and international maritime law. It affirms the right to peaceful protest at sea, while setting limits to ensure such activities do not jeopardize navigation or security.
In the icy waters of the Arctic, an international legal battle unfolded that would test the strength of international law and the resolve of nations. UNCLOS, established to govern maritime rights and responsibilities, includes specific mechanisms to resolve disputes between nations. One key feature is the compulsory dispute settlement mechanism, outlined in Part 15 of the Convention. Under Article 287 of UNCLOS, states can choose from various dispute resolution bodies, such as the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, ITLOS, or the International Court of Justice, ICJ. When no specific choice is made, disputes are resolved through arbitration under Annex 7. Annex 7 of UNCLOS includes provisions to ensure arbitration can proceed even if one party refuses to participate. Article 9 of Annex 7 states that if a party does not appear before the tribunal, the other party may request the proceedings to continue and an award to be made. In the Arctic Sunrise case, the Netherlands initiated arbitration under Annex 7 after Russia's refusal to participate. The tribunal was constituted with arbitrators appointed by both the Netherlands and the president of ITLOS. Despite Russia's non-participation, the tribunal continued with the proceedings. The Netherlands presented its case, and the tribunal examined the evidence. In 2015, the tribunal issued its award, finding that Russia had breached its obligations under UNCLOS. The tribunal ordered Russia to release the Arctic Sunrise and its crew and to compensate the Netherlands for damages. This landmark decision underscored the binding nature of UNCLOS and the effectiveness of its dispute resolution mechanisms, even in the face of non-cooperation.